we get too hot, we've got the right to just kind of say we need a break. That's enough.
It's fun to play in the heat, but working in it, that can be downright dangerous. WorkSafe BC sends out a warning.
Flames were 6-7 feet high and it was rushing up towards our highly flammable house.
A close call for an Okanagan family today whose home was within meters of being overtaken by fire. And could the next Vasek Popisil or Milos Raonic be in the Okanagan right now? A tournament of future stars is happening in Kelowna.
Live from our Global Okanagan studios, this is the News at 11 with Kimberly Davidson.
Good evening. The mercury just keeps soaring in the Okanagan, prompting WorkSafe BC to issue a heat stress alert today. The board says more than a couple dozen people had to take time off work last year due to extreme heat. As Angela Jung reports, anybody working outside is at risk of getting sick. A big fire burning on both sides of the Canada-U.S. border could make things smoky in the Okanagan. The so-called Snowy Creek fire is burning uncontrolled near Cathedral Provincial Park. It's about 90 hectares in size. The lightning-caused fire was reported today and is spreading very rapidly. It's in a remote area, in rugged terrain, and accessing it would be difficult. No structures are threatened at this time. Forestry BC is watching the situation and it may respond with air tankers if necessary. And in northeastern BC, crews are fighting the Petito River fire that's burning about 115 kilometers north of Fort Nelson. A state of local emergency has now been declared and an evacuation order is in place affecting about 15 people at an oil and gas camp to the east of the fire. A dry cold front is expected to pass over the area, bringing windy weather, which could spread the flames. Meantime, people living near a fire burning in Westbridge near Rock Creek are breathing a sigh of relief tonight. The evacuation order for 10 people living in the area has been lifted. As we told you yesterday, the fire is fully contained. 20 firefighters are still on scene battling the 26-hectare blaze. People in Kamloops are still cleaning up after the flash flood that ripped through the area late Tuesday afternoon. The flooding caused widespread damage to many houses and properties in West Side and forced many families to leave their homes. Jessica Lepp from CFJC News has the latest. Leslie's back now with the 5-day forecast. Just quintessential summer right now, isn't it? Like people with bags and big hats and everyone's going to the beach.
Beautiful, beautiful conditions outside. I mean, I guess it could be a little bit too hot for some. I know people who are sensitive to the heat, you know, mid-30s can be a bit sweltering out there. But yes, hat.
Go to the
love
beach.
those big hats. Go to the beach, jump in the water. It's a great way to cool off. Did you watch the fireworks last night?
I caught a glimpse of them, actually. I was working, so I stepped outside into the back alley for about 4 minutes and looked between the buildings and the trees, and I caught some.
Well, there were fireworks in Peachland as well. So one of our viewers sent us a picture of those fireworks. Thank you, Chris.
A fire in the Joe Rich area near Kelowna has shut down Highway 33 and forced hundreds from their homes.
Policemen came around and said, you need to get out.
Evacuees check in at a church in Kelowna, but is there enough resources to take care of all of them?
And we saw the flames, so we came out because it looked like it was too close to our house.
And homeowners watch helplessly as the fire creeps up the mountain towards their homes and properties.
Live from our Global Okanagan studios, this is the News at 11 with Kimberly Davidson.
Good evening. We begin tonight with an update on the Huckleberry fire burning in the Joe Rich area. The fire started just off Highway 33 and is burning about a kilometer east of the Heartland Ranch. Crews spent the day actioning it from the ground and from the air. The fire was first reported just after 2:30 this afternoon. It's estimated at 80 hectares and is 0% contained. 141 homes have been evacuated and another 158 properties are on evacuation alert. Lauren Pullen was at the scene of the fire for most of the day and joins us now. Lauren, do fire crews seem to be getting any sort of handle on this fire? And earlier today, we caught up with some Joe Rich residents whose homes are being threatened by this fire. At this point, we don't know if any structures have been overtaken, and it's the uncertainty that's causing a lot of stress and anxiety.
That's stressful.
Naomi Tercier can do nothing but watch the burning mountainside from the roadblock below. She can't get up to her father's house, and she's scared it may already be gone.
It looks like it is. It's up in the mountains, so it's kind of hard to see, but it's right there.
Christine Haynes saw the flames creeping closer to her home at Penny's RV Park and decided it was time to leave.
And we saw the flames, so we came out because it looked like it was too close to our house. And we were 10 feet from the fire. There was 2 fire trucks there at the time. A couple more showed up. They were setting up a big water tank, and they were starting to spray a little bit of water on it, but hardly anything. And then we watched a bunch of trees just candle, just huge. It's right on the road. It's right on Highway 33, about 2 minutes from the zip line, where you enter the zip line and the campground there.
The Central Okanagan Regional District does not anticipate any changes to the existing evacuation orders unless weather conditions change and the fire starts to grow again. But for those waiting and wondering, it's agony. Well, evacuees from the Huckleberry Fire are being sent to the Willow Park Church in the Rutland area of Kelowna. And as you can imagine, it's a chaotic scene as Joe Rich residents come to grips with the harsh reality of what could be happening to their homes. Emergency Social Services is providing food, clothing, and shelter to as many people as possible. But as Neetu Garcha reports, resources might be stretched quite thin. A busy week for Kelowna RCMP. Today they were out in force in the Black Mountain area yet again.
Well, the road's a bag of snakes. It's a disaster.
Summerland residents complained about a notorious stretch of road, and today their concerns were addressed.
I would really like to meet Stephen Tyler.
And a Kelowna woman with multiple sclerosis turns to YouTube in hopes of meeting her idol.
Live from our Global Okanagan studios, this is the News at 11 with Kimberly Davidson.
Good evening. For the second time this week, there was a heavy police presence on Freedom Road in Kelowna's Black Mountain area. RCMP returned to Freedom this afternoon. It's not clear why, but there are unconfirmed reports that one person has been arrested. Neighbors say the people at the home recently moved in. One area resident said when he came home at around 4:30, there were at least 7 police cars outside the house in question. It was just this Tuesday morning that neighbors awoke to news of a homicide at another house on Freedom about a block away. 47-year-old Amardeep Singh Aluwalia was found dead. No arrests have been made in that case.
They've only been there, I want to say maybe a month or 2 tops, so that's all I really know, yeah.
There's always been lots of vehicles around, but I didn't really notice anything out of the ordinary.
It drew a large police presence to downtown Kelowna, but it turns out a call to our CMP about a serious violent incident was fake.
Finding out that it was completely needless is, of course, very disturbing and frustrating.
Armed RCMP officers swarmed an apartment building on Leon Avenue last night about 7:30, but police now have a new investigation on their hands, finding out who made the phony phone call. RCMP say it takes away from valuable resources responding to fake calls like this one, and that it is a very serious offense that could result in criminal charges.
We do have to take all of this at face value. We can't make a snap decision that this may or may not be real. We have to act on it. And so, of course, we did exactly that.
RCMP say it was a man's voice making the phone call. Police have now launched a public mischief investigation and are asking anyone with information to call RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Even if you've never been on a Sea-Doo or a jet ski, You likely have seen them on the water in the Okanagan, and it's clear how fast they go and how serious a head-on collision between two of them would be. Well, that's what RCMP say happened last night. Vernon RCMP say it happened on Kalamalka Lake just before midnight. Two personal watercrafts collided. A 29-year-old man and a 24-year-old woman, both from Vernon, were taken to hospital with serious injuries. RCMP say the man broke his pelvis and femur. The woman has leg and spinal injuries. Two other men involved in the accident were not injured. Police were alerted by residents on shore who heard the collision. While two people did suffer serious injuries, police say it's fortunate no one died. The BC Coroner's Service is releasing the name of the man killed in an ATV accident near Princeton last week. 41-year-old Glenn John Sinclair Bergsma was driving an ATV on Boulder Mountain Logging Road near Tulameen when he left the road and rolled down a steep embankment. The Princeton man was pronounced dead at the scene. There have been no details released on why the ATV may have left the roadway. The BC Coroner's Service and RCMP continue to investigate. A Kelowna woman has admitted her guilt in a large cross-border cocaine smuggling attempt. It was a year ago when officers at the border south of Trail noticed something unusual in the trunk of a vehicle arriving from the United States. Further inspection turned up 35 kilograms of cocaine concealed in a hidden compartment. The driver of the car, 26-year-old Caitlin Gladish, has now pleaded guilty to importing a controlled substance. She will be sentenced at a later date. RCMP believe an organized crime group was also involved in the cocaine smuggling operation, but no other people have been charged. The Okanagan Basin Water Board is glad to see the province is ponying up some money to prevent invasive mussels from getting into our waterways. Zebra and quagga mussels have become such a problem in BC. The government is committing $360,000 to fight and prevent the spread of the aquatic nuisance. The funding will help provide 3 additional mobile inspection and decontamination crews in the Columbia Basin. The mobile inspection teams will stop boats entering BC waterways to make sure the vessels are mussel-free. The OBWB says it would still rather see 5 permanent inspection stations at major highway crossings on the BC-Alberta border. On Monday, Summerland residents vented their concerns on Global Okanagan News. And today, they got the news they were hoping for. The district of Summerland gets more complaints about the condition of Garnet Valley Road than any other road in the community. But those complaints will soon be coming to an end. As Blaine Gaffney reports, Garnet Valley residents will get a new road surface and better water service.
It's treacherous.
You're watching News at 11 on Global Okanagan.
He's 8 years old, and Zion Harvey can do most of the things other boys do, but it's not always easy. He lost his hands and his feet as a toddler after contracting a life-threatening infection. But he remained positive and wise beyond his years. And now, thanks to groundbreaking surgery, he's got big plans for his future. Artie Pohl has this story.
Zion's revolutionary operation pushes the boundaries of what's medically possible. The operation team calling this a big step forward. The new hands will grow with Zion.
Our anticipation in a few months is he'll be throwing a football. Maybe he'll climb the monkey bars when the sensation returns to his hands.
Climbing the monkey bars is high on his list, but once his hands are healed, something else takes priority.
Pick up my little sister from daycare and wait for her to run in to my hands, and I pick her up and spin her around.
A dream that may now be within reach. Artie Pohl, Global News, Washington.
Amazing and heartwarming. And that is it for the news at 11. Thanks for watching Global Okanagan, and have a good night.